coming to Manipal is quite literally from Delhi a breath of fresh air. It's the monsoons. I know that you guys are under the weather. The only thing which comes to mind in TAPMI and I wake up still is the thought of having a surprise quiz. So it's funny in hindsight, it wasn't funny at the time.
Hello, I'm Ronjini Dasgupta and let me welcome the MD of Perfetti Van Melle India, Nikhil Sharma. So Nikhil sir, welcome to TAPMI.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back. It's been quite fun 2 days. It's lovely to be back in campus.
So how does it feel to be back at TAPMI after almost 2 decades after your graduation?
Yeah, my first instinct on that question, it makes me feel very old. But I've been coming to campus, when I was part of the marketing team, when I was the head of marketing. So, in all honesty, I think I came back last year and then that was a gap of 10 years when I was not coming. So it's really good to be back. Coming to Manipal is quite literally from Delhi a breath of fresh air. It's the monsoons. I know that you guys are under the weather. And it's, once you're living in this city, then maybe you don't appreciate it as much as we do coming out of Delhi. So it's very, very nice to be back. I wasn't part of this campus, so I was part of a different campus, so I don't have that kind of association. But still when you come back to your alma mater and you meet all of you, you still have a bond, right? Because, let's say we've gone through the same process. So it's really nice to be back. And quite honestly, you guys really pamper us a lot. Which feels great. Sometimes I also feel I don't deserve as much, but it's so nice to interact with the students.
So what was a typical day in TAPMI like for you? Is there any funny incident that still make you smile?
Well, there's a lot of academic rigor in TAPMI. So my days pretty much like everybody else. We were under a deluge of classes, and there was so the only thing which comes to mind in TAPMI and I wake up still is the thought of having a surprise quiz. So it's funny in hindsight, it wasn't funny at the time. But there are lots and lots of cool memories with friends.
So sir, when you hear the word TAPMI now, what is the first feeling or memory that comes to your mind?
It's interesting you asked that. I was narrating the story to both Pragati and Karan as it was coming in. I applied for my MBA schools pretty late, and when I got the TAPMI call, I was in the middle of my exams and out of engineering, and I had to make a call to the college to say, can you reschedule my appointment in between 2 exam papers, right? So it's one of those memories which really stays with you, because I had to in between my final year engineering papers, I had to fly down, I had to give the interview and go back. And when people mention the word TAPMI, that's a story which I very often narrate to friends of mine. Of course, then, there's a whole feeling of warmth and happiness about the fact that, we spent 2 lovely years here together. We have a whole group of friends who are very close to, we still catch up. So there is certainly that also, and there's this whole, warm glow in which what we bask in when we hear the word TAPMI. It's nice to be, it's nice to get that feeling about your school.
Do you feel that the TAPMI culture still reflects the same spirit you experienced during your time here? And what has changed the most according to you?
I think so. Let me answer the first part of the question. I think there's a certain hunger about students of TAPMI. There's out to prove a point, and I think that certainly is still very prevalent. I wouldn't say it's changed. Maybe it's, the better word would be evolved into something more now. It's in tune with the changing times. Also for you, Ranjini, you're now graduating next year. Your batch's very different in size, right? So there's so much more that you need to do, and then much more number of B schools now coming up. So I guess there is an elevated level of push that you guys need, and I see that coming out of students now. I had the chance to meet some first year students just now, and while they don't need to come up and have a chat with me, but everybody's kind of wanting to understand a little bit more and how to get better, and that's really, really lovely to see. I'm not so sure we would have done something similar at our time. It wasn't that we were not wanting to do well, but I think we were much more shy at that time. And I think that's something which has certainly changed.
When you look at TAPMI students now, what traits or energy remind you of your own student days?
Yeah, I think we referenced this in our previous question, right? So certainly TAPMI is a hard, hard grind, and I see that. I saw it during my time, and I see that now. And there's in a good way, but I think the students feel the pressure. TAPMI really prepares you for what's coming, and I think that's what's relevant in the real world as well. They don't mollycoodle you. They don't say it's going to be fine. They actually throw you into the deep end, and I think that's very, very similar to the same. It's the same thing we experienced, and really that's what's held us in good stead.
So, if you could go back and relive one TAPMI memory, even just for a day, what would it be and why?
TAPMI memories are not made in classrooms. They're made with friends and outside. I remember a bike trip we had done to close by. I think we went to Joke Falls, if I'm not wrong. It was lovely. We really, really had a good time, and we still reminisce about it when we meet as a group of friends. If I could go back in time, that could possibly be one. I was also part of Litcom actually, so let me change that answer. I was also part of Litcom, and we did something called Episode. I think you guys still do it. I'm not sure whether it happens or not, but there's something called Episode, and there's another one with Intercollege. We really put in a lot of hard work for that. And of course, I'm biased, but I think it was one of the best things I did in TAPMI. So yeah, if I could go back and relive that part, it'd be fabulous. Yeah.
So, before we end this, any message you would like to give out to the current batch?
Yeah, I think as far as messages go, the first thing I would like to say is that, coming from me, it's more practical than high-handed, and my recommendation to everybody is that it's not going to be easy, but it's not going to be you eventually going to make it. So just hang in there for the tough years. It's when you look at your career, don't do knee-jerk things to begin with. When you start your career, try and put in the hard work, and things will work out. And if you don't like what you do, there's obviously an alternate path available. It is for everybody. So don't get bogged down by the fact that you're stuck in something, and try and within that circumstance also try and put in your best effort and learn, because that's what's going to hold you in good stead. That hunger to learn and be curious at all times.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here, spending this time with us, and giving us such valuable insights. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Quite honestly, I'd much rather be here than anybody else. So thank you for having me.